Trey, just thoughts on Trey becoming the franchise's all-time leader in three-point makes and just kind of what he means.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive, what he's done. And, since he's got in the league, his growth, he deserves a ton of credit, and he's put the work in. He's a tremendous worker. He's going to have a wonderful career here. He's already put up some big numbers. So proud of him. He's fantastic. He keeps growing every year, adding to his game. Tremendous, and he deserves all the credit for that.
We've seen him, diversify a lot of his game so much this year. He's becoming that true three-level scorer. But it seems like in the last 4 or 5, he's really been getting back to the three-point shot. Just what have you seen in this last week or so about how he's been playing, or the last 4 or 5 games, how he's been playing?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to a game with the mindset of, he's just taking what the game gives him, and I think that's the beauty. Teams are hugging to him, and he's able to get to the rim. I think he's one of the top leaders at field goal percentage in the paint, so he's making plays at the rim. He's been fantastic off the ball, in transition, the three-point line. That's been there the last couple of games. I think maybe that's a product of DQ being out a little bit, maybe, the last game. But in general, we need him to shoot the three ball. We're a team. It was good to see tonight. We got up, 43s tonight. That was impressive, for our group. So we got to stay with that. And he's just taking what the game gives him. He's a versatile offensive weapon.
Shifting to tonight, just kind of the turnovers. What did you kind of see, especially in the first half?
Yeah, the turnovers cost us. That was the game. So 25 turnovers, 17 at the half. Some of that was careless. Some of that was their aggression. Some of that was rim decisions, paint decisions. So we'll watch it tomorrow. We'll own all our turnovers. We'll watch every one of them and see, what we find out of that. So we got to be better there. The challenge for us defensively is enough. Is present enough. We don't need to help our opponents by turning it over and giving them easy ones. So and that really fueled their fast break. They had 31 fast break points. I'm assuming the bulk of that was off our turnovers.
Coach, speaking of turnovers, Jeremiah gave you a boost tonight, but between him and Derek, they had 9 turnovers. How do you go about balancing that aggression you want to see from them while being...
Yeah, that's the learning curve. They're rookies, This is new for them. It's decision-making. Stuff happens fast. It's quick. But the only way you get better is you learn and you go through it, So those were 9 costly turnovers. But, that's with a young group like that, it's going to happen, It's just what I'm worried about, not worried, what I'm concerned about is learning from it and growing from it. That's the real lesson in it. So watching it tomorrow, owning it, and hopefully the next game we don't see the same mistake. Obviously, when it happens, we got to learn from it and grow. But those are the learning curves of young teams.
And speaking of, learning curves, what was the adjustment or maybe something you saw different coming out of the first half in that third quarter where you guys only scored?
Their aggression amped up. Obviously they got into the ball a little bit more. You could see their physicality picked up. And the shots we did have, we didn't knock them down. We struggled there in the third quarter just to find an open look. The ones that we did have, we didn't knock down. I think overall their aggression picked up, and we got to respond to that.
And speaking of responding, we saw Zion literally have to work for every shot that he made tonight. Kind of had an out of rhythm night. What's your thoughts on a game like him, the game that he had tonight, and him being maybe one of the bigger focal points for your team?
Well, he's been tremendous. He's had a heck of a run here recently, and tonight they're a good defense. They clamped on both sides of his drives, and they made it tough on him there at the rim. So we'll try to do a better job of opening up the floor and getting him some easy looks. But he's been tremendous during this run, and I expect him to bounce back on Tuesday night.